You ready?
Yep.
Okay, everybody, I'm back in my shop at home. We're starting a new channel called SedgeTool. It's about, how am I going to describe this? It's about me getting my shop up to speed and getting back to my love of woodworking. My buddy here, Big D I call him, his name's Derek. He's been asking me a lot of woodworking questions. I've been hooking him up with some stuff that I'm decluttering. And he asked me a question about something that's near and dear to my heart. And it's about this. So what was that question? Here we go.
What is this?
I have had that question my whole life, and this is something I cannot work without. And I love, just absolutely love teaching people about cabinet scrapers. Okay, so just recently, another really close friend of mine, Jim Bob, he's downsizing his shop, and he says he wants these. He gave me a ton of other stuff, but thanks, Jim. And he said, yeah, I've never had good luck with them. And I always hear that, and it's like, it's because people don't know how to put the right burr on them. And I'm gonna show you today, D, that it's really easy.
All right.
Okay? Because once you see, okay, well, let's come in here and look at this. Watch this. By the way, behind the camera is Chris. We call him Chris. Okay. So as we come over, I'm going to take off this hat. Okay. Hey, by the way, don't mind the clutter in here. I am working on getting it all back up to speed. Okay. So I just got a piece of walnut on here, and Derek, feel this right here. Feel that? Okay, feel this. There's nothing on that edge, right?
No.
But what do you feel there? Kind of like
a little bit of a lip.
Okay, so let me teach you something else. When you're always checking an edge, and you're going to do this today, we're going to put the burr. We're going to sharpen this. We'll polish it first and then sharpen it. But I always take a fingernail. Do it with your fingernail. You feel it now? And look what happened to your fingernail. You took a little dust off with it.
Yep.
It's because I've raised the burr perfectly on this. And I'm going to show you how to do it in just a few steps.
Okay.
Okay, so hang in there. This is what you should get. So let's do it with the wrong edge, okay? That doesn't have a burr on it. Look at that. You're getting dust, right? Okay, now I'm going to flip it over. And this is how you hold a cabinet scraper. We'll talk through this, but you want to kind of angle it because you'll see, and I'll draw this out for you, what that burr looks like. But this is what you're supposed to get. A very, very thin scraping. And as I pull this up and pull it out, you'll see how it's a single piece, just like this. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what you want to accomplish with a scraper, not dust.
Right.
Okay, so that right there is what we're going to do today. So we're going to take these, and this is an old brand. Okay, you got different lengths. Now, this is what I also want you to check out. Okay, you have different thicknesses of cabinet scrapers. This old brand, you'll see it. Feel how stiff that is. That's the one we're going to put a burr on. You're going to see the difference, and you're also going to see how much thicker it is.
Right, it's very thick.
So we'll be able to do this for the camera today and see that. This one is the one I like. I think this is a Lee Nielsen. Okay, it's very thin. I don't know the exact thickness of it, but you can see the difference in thickness here as that light reflects off of it.
Oh wow, yeah.
You see that?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so there you go. Sometimes you want it stiff. Sometimes you want a little more flexibility in there.
It's always going to be flexible, kids.
That's right. Okay, so there you go, and we're going to get to sharpening this. There's a lot of ways you can sharpen tools, implements, polish them. I prefer, it's not just low budget, it's a very easy way to sharpen. Okay, hear me out, please. It's basically, and everybody would say, sandpaper on glass. And you know what? That's all it is. Because that's what a stone is. Stones have a grit range. Mm-hmm. Okay? Whether it's a diamond, a Japanese water stone, or an Arkansas oil stone. Japanese are wet, Arkansas is oil. Okay.
Okay.
So I always got to remember that stuff. You know what? In the early days, I thought I'd be really cool. This was 30 years ago. I thought I'd be really cool and use Japanese water stones. And I was fumbling and bumbling because the stone is only about this big.
Oh, okay.
Okay, the ones I had, and I had to have what is known as a water pond to keep them soaked in and stuff like that if I knew I was going to sharpen. This right here had to be, and by the way, I hate to sharpen. But over the years, I got fairly decent with it, whether in the shop or on the job site, because it's simple. And not the only time, when you hurt yourself with a chisel, it's because it's usually dull. I've taken friends and sharpened and refurbished a hand plane before. They said this doesn't work. And no, the plane wasn't tuned, but more so, they bought a really nice hand plane. They didn't like it. It's because it wasn't sharp. People automatically assume it's sharp. Like somebody might assume that this cabinet scraper is ready to go, and you saw it's not. Yeah. You have to raise a burr. So we have to sharpen it, okay, right. And raise the burr. Okay. Now, when I say sharpen it, this is probably perfect, or not perfect, close to it, but this is a 90 right here. See? Mm-hmm. Okay, so what we're going to do is our sharpening stones or sharpening plate is you have to select something that you know is dead flat. That's why people would always go, oh, you got to use plate glass because it's floated. Well, I'll tell you what, this is a piece of corian. Okay, it's flat, it's polished. Okay, I've used granite with sandpaper, glass with sandpaper, melamine with sandpaper, melamine coated MDF. I've used MDF. I just always have the sandpaper with me, okay, wherever I was. And you'll see the progression we go through. Okay. The reason you get something dead flat is because everything has to be 90 with this before we raise the burr. And I'll describe that, I'll draw it out for you, what I mean by raising the burr. You could probably go online and see all kinds of schematics, pictures, drawings of the burr that you need to do and create the hook angle on it. So when I look at the sandpaper, okay, you buy it in rolls wherever, okay. You'll see on the back the grits, 150, and also, do you know what PSA stands for? No. Pressure.
Public service announcement.
Public service announcement.
I could say a few other things, but this is the family channel. Pressure sensitive adhesive. Oh, okay. It's sticky back, what everybody knows, okay? So I buy it in rolls. They're 4.5 inches wide. Okay, these rolls were designed to put on a PSA pad on a 4.5 inch sander. Okay. But I like it because it's a wide surface. And you'll see in the future how, like, we refurbished a hand plane, okay, because I know you have a couple you want to bring up to speed. We'll use this. You don't always have to start with 80. Depends. You have to look at what you're trying to accomplish, okay? It's like, what grit do you start when you're sanding? Okay, and we'll cover that in the future too. That's another episode of something. Okay, so I have it labeled 80, 150. I flip it over, and I have 220 and 320. And then on the 320, we are going to polish, and I have this paper that's 600 grit, 1500, and 2000. Oh wow. And that's wet dry sandpaper. Okay, so what we want to do, and you'll see with scrapers, that people will put them in their vices. I'm just going to go over here, Chris, really quick. Is they'll put a file, and they'll go like this with it, flip it over, go like this, and then they'll take a file and go like this. Okay, just to remove what's left over of the dull burr. Okay. We're starting for fresh, so I'm just going to open this up. We, on this, are just going to do, and we're going to start out with, okay, is we are going to go this way with it. And I'll do this side, and then you do this side, okay. And we'll step through. Okay, so when you are lapping something, let's do it right here so you can see it. And I'll just get right here, okay? I'm going to take this and watch. This is basically my file, okay? So right there. And you're going to start to see a scratch pattern appear. Okay? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to have you do this side. Yep, but make sure it's flat. This is called lapping it. Okay? Good. Perfect. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll flip it over here, and we'll do 220. Okay, this is my side.
Here's the label on it.
Okay, now, always remember this. If something's not comfortable, get comfortable doing it. Okay. Okay, never do stuff like this. Get right in there and get over it, because you have to put the downward pressure as well.
Okay.
So we'll do this, and we'll lap it like this. I'll come over here, and as you're doing that, I'm going to do this. Now your hands are going to get dirty with this, okay? Because what that black mark on there is shavings. That's metal. Okay, you're grinding it. Look at that. Man, that's about the best one I've ever seen right there. Okay. Okay.
So far, so good.
So I just take this file card. I just go like this, because those are just filings. It prolongs the life of that. You're going to break that down pretty quick. So let's do 320. So I'm going to take it like this, and this is 320. You don't have to go hog wild, just downward pressure. So I'm going to flip this over for you, and you do it.
Okay.
Firm pressure down. Perfect. Good. You know, I always tell people sometimes you got to be really careful because you don't want to overdo.
Right.
Okay, and I'm just going to do this now. I'm just going to take the 600. You can see where I've used it, but this is still on the flat surface, and this grit holds it. And we're just going to go like this. You're going to see this where it'll be a polish that we can, almost like a mirror finish.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go like this, okay? And you're going to flip it over, and you're going to do yours.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay? Stay right there because I'm getting lazy. 1,500. Do the same thing on both sides.
Wait a second.
Hey, what, you mean I actually got to do this stuff? You know what's really cool about this is I'm so glad you asked me about cabinet scrapers, D.
Me too. Well, not so much right now because I'm doing all the work.
Yeah. But you know what? We're going to make a hell of a woodworker out of you.
Hey, that sounds good to me.
Okay, so right here, do it again.
Okay, and this is the
2000 grit. Yep. And it's wet dry sandpaper. Okay.
Now, when you say wet dry, what does that mean?
It's automotive paper that they use for finishes, and they put it on jitterbugs.
Oh.
They can use it wet or dry.
Well, that's all in the name.
Using paper wet like this, perfect. See, look, let's look at it. Yeah. Hey, Mo! It looks good, huh? Look, yeah. You can see the reflection. And feel how smooth that is. Okay, so we did this side and this side. Yep. Okay, but for me, the critical one is this. Remember earlier on I said, hey, about files? Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm going to go back to 120 grit here. What do we say up in Maine? Yankee ingenuity. So I could go like this. It's kind of like, pretend this is the file. Can you balance this at perfectly 90?
No.
You're going to create all kinds of angles, right? Okay, so what I did is I grabbed that 1, 2, 3 block, and look, that's how I hold 90. Perfect. So what we want to do is we want to polish that edge. All 3 sides are polished. That way there you get a consistent burr.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to take it like this, and I'm going to do 150 like this, look.
Nice.
Now I'm going to do this. I know this is a new scraper out of the bag, but I go like this with my fingernail. Always remember, your fingers and your hands, these are the best feeler gauges. You can feel any imperfection, especially if you're running a router bit and you see something. Okay, but I always take a fingernail. This is how I was taught, and I run that to feel if I have any nicks. 0.0. I should never have it. Okay, so then we'll take it like this, and I'm gonna have you do the 220.
220. Okay.
Okay, and I'll coach you on that.
All right.
And just bring it down. And then sometimes, D, I'll take it like this. You got to get more in here. I'll do this. Watch. I'll take it like this, and I'll actually move the block as well.
Oh, okay. So you're getting fresh grip.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. Perfect. Now you got to do 320.
All right.
Keep them working, baby. Perfect. You know why? Because let's look. You're working the whole edge.
Yep.
Utilize things like that, your eye, to say, hey, I'm doing this. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to step in here. We're going to do 600 now.
All right.
Same thing. We're going to polish it. Now we're going to a polish. Yeah, baby, yeah. Good? And it's always good to have somebody switching grits like that for you.
It makes it a little
really
easier.
speeds it up. Good. Look, you know what? I can see that reflection over here, dude. It's pretty awesome, huh?
So, should we start to feel the burr by now?
No.
Or are we not there?
Whoa, you don't have anything on there. What you've done, and sometimes it'll be like, you've had a burr on there, but it's not cutting like it should. You have to remove that entire burr first.
Oh, sorry, starting fresh.
You're starting fresh, okay? And boy, there's a lot of myths on this.
Okay.
Okay, but I'm gonna show you really cool stuff. So, next we're gonna come back over here.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm gonna get something I can draw on. So, I mean, that's a word I can never say, draw. So I'm gonna show something I can sketch on. That's even better. So let's look at a side view. This is what we need to do, okay? This is your steel here. It's polished here, here, and here.
Okay.
Okay? So now what we need to end up with, and let's see if I can draw this out, here and here, is we need to end up with that burr, and where you'll feel the burr is hooked back at a slight angle.
Okay.
Okay? See that? So when I take that and we tilt that scraper, this puts it in line to create a shaving.
Okay.
Okay?
And that's like that nice roll.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. But here's the other kicker to it. Everybody thinks you can just take a what is known as a burnisher and go like this. No, it's a steps. You have to pull the metal, push the metal, and turn the metal. Okay? You remember when the internet first started? There was a couple forums and some guy was selling these. Okay, I think you can't even find them anymore. But always do this. When you buy a burnisher, okay, buy carbide one.
Carbide.
Carbide is, feel how smooth that is. I don't even know what this is. I think somebody says it's some kind of rod or whatever, but it's not it wasn't designed to be a burnisher. He just had a bunch of them, and I was looking at it. You see it's a little hollow here. Everybody makes burnishers, and now a lot of people are making carbide ones. I would always go with the carbide one because it's harder than the steel.
All right.
Okay, and they'll say, oh, but it's Rockwell hardness, this kind of steel. Don't go by those things, tips and tricks that people have where you take an old screwdriver and polish it. No, go and buy one. Okay, I think Lee Valley's got a killer one. Okay, Veritas, I think it is. Okay, so I just bought this on the internet many moons ago. It's solid carbide. I think I have 2 of these. And no, you're not having one. You're gonna have a free scraper today.
There you go.
Okay, don't drop carbide. It breaks. Okay, it's brittle, but it is super duper hard. Okay, so what we got to do with this, okay, that we're starting with, is we got to create these but straight up.
Okay.
You have to pull the steel. It's this simple. I'm going to do one side, you're going to do another. Now, I do it in cadence because what happens on this side should be the same on this side. Okay, so I always count to 5 or 6.
Okay.
But I'm going to do 6 now, and it's this simple. Watch. What I'm doing is I have it at an angle, and I'm just putting pressure like this, and what we call this is pulling the steel. There's 1, 2, 3. You're not going to see anything. 4, 5.
Okay.
6. It's called pulling the steel. You're going to do this side.
Okay.
You don't want to pull it over. You want to keep it supported on there.
Fully supported. Okay.
Yep. And just do it like this. You're pulling the steel one. A little bit of pressure. You don't have to kill it. People think you got to kill this. You don't. But a little bit of pressure.
4, 5.
Now remember, this is the first time you're doing this.
Yes.
You will get better, and it's a lot faster too. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to take it over here, Big D. Come on.
Okay.
I'm just going to open up this Moxon vise I have. I want to put it where we're going to be comfortable.
Okay.
Okay? So we'll just put it in here. Okay, I'm just going to get this out of the way. Okay, so now what we have to do is we've pulled the steel up this way.
Okay.
We have to flatten it. Okay? So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do 4 and you're going to do 2.
Okay.
Okay? Perfectly at 90, and this is why I do it like this. Okay, I've always viced it. Is because I'm using my fingers here as support. So watch. I'm just going to take it like this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. You
And
do.
you're just riding on your...
I'm just riding, and I'm trying to maintain straight.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see if you got a D. Come on. You got it, bro. 1, 2. Do 2 more.
2 more. Okay.
God, you're sexy.
I think this looked good.
You make that burnisher look good, baby. Okay, good. Now, we're going to leave it here.
Okay.
So, we've accomplished this. I still can't feel anything. It doesn't matter. Okay, now we got to turn it.
Okay.
So we're going to do it like this. And I just hold it like this. Okay, finger here. And I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to do this. Watch. Just because.
And then you marked it so you have a reference of which side you did or didn't do?
No, I want to do the one I did. This is the one you're going to do. Okay? Because I'm going to tell you, there's going to be no difference. Once you get the process correct, you hear that, don't you? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're going to do this side, brother.
Just a slight angle.
Slight angle. I'll coach you. Yep. Okay. Got it?
Finger. There we go.
Yep. Okay. You're going to start at the end. Okay. Go. 1, 2. Always count them out in your head. There's 6. There's 10.
5 and 6.
It's consistency. So you may say, hey, let's... Oh.
We're getting there.
Dude, I think yours is better than mine.
I had a good teacher. And we're looking.
I know I'm not supposed to swear, Chris. You feel that, brother. You just earned your keep in the shop today.
Ooh.
Okay, so let's take it back over so we can have some fun. We'll just take it over here. I'm going to flip it around because I'm reading this grain here. Let's do it like this. Okay, so this is what I want to do. I want to test it.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the side we didn't do. This is the side we did.
There we go.
Okay, wait a minute. That was my side. Okay, D, get over here.
All right.
Let's see. Now, I'll coach you. Just like that. Thumbs down a little bit lower. Good. Now do it. Okay, too much angle, but look,
Okay.
you're getting a nice curl. You got a nice curl.
Okay.
Okay.
Just not as much.
No,
angle.
watch. I'm gonna step in because
Okay.
sometimes when I do this, I'm just like, am I teaching it correctly? Okay, I got my fingers like this. Okay, like this, and I'm right like this. Okay, but let's see. Oh man, I wish I had someone like you working in my shop. Thumbs in closer, bend.
Ooh,
Oh yeah, baby.
he's there.
He's scraping. He's a scraping phenom. Good?
Looks good to me. Of course, it's my first time.
Okay. That just made my whole weekend. Thanks. Hey,
Awesome.
hopefully, thanks for tuning in. What do you think?
I know what that is, and I'm excited that I know how to prep it right.
Okay, so here's the other thing I'm gonna, as I do this, because I am the world's biggest fidget. Okay, as I feel down the whole burr, remember, sometimes, and I'll teach this in finishing and doing other things, close your eyes. When you do, because these are your best feeler gauges.
Right.
Okay? And boy, this is really consistent on both sides. More so on the one I did. This is your first time doing this. I think you're lying to me. You are a pro already on putting a burr on cabinet scraper. So, as we're going to end all of this, this is Derek. I'm Sedge. Behind the camera is Chris. And thanks for tuning in to SedgeTool. And we're going to tune it out because we got a new saying we want to try out. Be positive. No, that's not it. Be happy and stay sharp.
There you go.
Thanks, everybody.